This podcast is sponsored by Chimby, the career advice search engine. Go to chimby.com to search the web's best collection of career advice. That's CHIMBY.com. Welcome to Secrets of the Job Hunt, everyone. This is the podcast edition. I'm your host, Chris Russell. This is the weekly job search roundup, the week ending June 30th. First up, employers cautiously optimistic about hiring in quarter three. CareerBuilder.com and USA Today have released the results of their latest survey, tracking projected hiring trends for the third quarter of 2007. The survey, titled Q3 2007 Job Forecast, was conducted from June 1st through June 13th among 2,400 hiring managers and human resource professionals in private sector companies. So more than two-thirds, 67% of employers reported their companies hire new full-time permanent employees at their locations, the same amount of employers in the latter half of the year as the first half, while 24% expect to hire more. 1 in 5, 21%, expect to hire fewer employees. Despite a slowing in economic growth and productivity, U.S. job creation continued in the first half of 2007, with gains concentrated in the service sector, said Matt Ferguson, CEO of CareerBuilder.com. While the job market is slower than last year, it is not a slow job market. Employers remain cautiously optimistic in their recruitment plans, with 35% reporting they will increase the number of full-time permanent employees at their locations in the third quarter. 5% expect to decrease headcount, while 52% expect no change. The survey also noted that hiring activity is expected to remain strongest in the South and West, and that the types of jobs still hot are in sales, information technology, and healthcare. So there you go. Dan Pink, the noted author who wrote the popular book Free Agent Nation, spoke last week at the annual SHRM conference for HR professionals, which I had the pleasure of attending. In his speech, he talked about some of the new skills employers should be looking for among new job seekers out there. So I thought I'd share some of those with you. He says companies have to start finding and hiring individuals with specific traits that currently matter most. The first one is, he calls it design. He says, you don't have to be a designer, but you do have to be literate in it. When it comes to the aesthetic differentiators of products and services, we're all in the arts and entertainment business, Pink said. Hire the design inmates and let them run the asylum. His next skill is story. So he says, ubiquitous facts are free in today's society, but building a master narrative to give them the context is a talent. Find the storytellers and let them do that. Next is symphony. This means seeing the big picture, connecting the dots and finding meaningful patterns between them. This is the new killer app, he says, citing research that shows women and the middle-aged are best at this. So my best advice to you, he says, is hire more middle-aged women. Okay. Last two. First one's empathy. This is hard to outsource or automate, he says, and it's hard for competitors to replicate. But one of the best ways to tell if a person is empathetic is to find out if he or she can distinguish between a real and fake smile. In fact, Pink suggested that this become a skill those in the audience should develop. And lastly, meaning. So in the U.S., we've gotten 3 times richer and not one bit happier, Pink says, noting that the phenomenon is true in other cultures as well. Look for people who want meaning, not just accumulation. So there you go. Next up, there's an article in CareerJournal.com, Why Attention-Seeking Tactics Often Backfire on Job Hunters, which my good friend Sarah Needleman wrote. So I wanted to share some of that with you, since it's a, something that creatives like to do, but it can backfire on you, and I'll talk about some of that here. So she says, in an era when many resumes share a standard email-friendly format, it's no wonder some job hunters feel compelled to use creative tactics to stand out. But while a rare few succeed, most fail miserably, say recruiters and hiring managers. A junior marketing professional tried to send his resume to a company hiring manager via a homing pigeon, says Cynthia Shapiro, a job search coach in Chatsworth, California. But as far as the job hunter knows, the recruiter wasn't interested because the animal never returned, says Mrs. Shapiro, who began working with the job hunter after the incident. Such oddball gimmicks are more commonly used by entry and mid-level professionals than by managers and executives, say recruiters. Yet a miscue can be even costlier for senior folks because they should know better, says Amy Hoover, an executive vice president and partner at Talent Zoo, a recruiting agency with offices in New York and Atlanta. Big gaffes certainly can give you an unflattering reputation regionally or across the board in your industry. But the bottom line is, when trying to get noticed, make it relevant and engaging. Don't go overboard. I'm all for being creative, but silly stunts in this article made me cringe. But for a good example of a unique and creative way to get noticed, consider something like a personal marketing newsletter. I created a unique resume concept back in the early 90s that got some good responses from employers. And it was creative while not going overboard. You can read more about it on my blog by doing a keyword search on personal marketing newsletter. The name of the actual post is called Research Your Way into a Job. So definitely check that out for a great thing. I actually got 3 interviews out of this little experiment I did. And one of those led to a job. So there you go. Okay, one piece of job board news this week. Snagajob.com, the #1 site for hourly employment, announced they reached 7 million registered job seekers. The site, which has been around since 2000, says that the company registered more job seekers in 2006 than it did in its first 4 years of business. And again, that's snagajob.com, where you can go to find hourly jobs with, companies like, retail jobs, things like that. And, eBay has just launched their own free classified site to compete with sort of a Craigslist type offering. It's called, I'll try and pronounce this, Kijiji. Why they picked that name, I have no idea. It's one of the most oddest names I've ever seen for a classified site. Apparently it's Swahili, meaning village. And it's spelled KIJIJI.com. Lastly, I could use your vote. If you like my podcast, head on over to podcastawards.com and vote for me in the business podcast category. I'd sure appreciate the support. There's a box on the right-hand side of my blog with a link over to theirs where you can vote. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Weekly Job Search Roundup. Stay tuned to secretsofthejobhunt.com for more interesting career topics. My blog is over 600 pages of cool career advice, so be sure to give it a read. And to contact me with any comments or questions, send your email to info@secretsofthejobhunt.com. Thanks for listening, everyone.